Wow, that's very cool. All right, so Jesse, what do you got for us?
I can start anytime, buddy.
All right. Okay.
Should I jump in here?
Put it on.
All right, let's go.
There we go. All right, thank you, sir. And congratulations, buddy. 12 years. All right, let's see if this is all working. Hola. Hey, everybody. I know nobody likes to talk at dinner time, but you're getting to talk at dinner time. Sorry. So I'm going to try and make it brief. So, Warren, man, where's am I supposed to stand, Warren?
Right there. We're gonna
Right here, you think? Is this it? That's perfect.
Sweet spot. Yeah.
That one was
All right. Sorry. Okay. So.
This is our beta version.
I don't really need this thing. I can just belt it out. I'm good.
I'm gonna turn.
Yeah, forget all this digital garbage. We don't need it.
House lights.
All right.
That's good.
House lights. House lights.
So, all right. So Warren asked if I would speak a little bit about the nature of magic. He said, "Tell us what makes magic work." And I thought, man, that sounds like, I don't know what I'd say about that, because there's a lot you can say about magic. And I was excited because it was an opportunity to think about it a little bit. And so this is a lot of crazy thinking about the nature of magic. And so it's a little bit all over the place, so I apologize for that. So first, I guess, let me ask you guys. When you think of things that you think of are, I know something that's magic, what's something that's magic?
Unicorn.
Unicorns. What else?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. All right. What else?
Disney World.
Disney World. What else? What are other magic?
Stars.
Stars and sparkles. What else?
Dogs.
Dogs. How are dogs magical?
That's true.
Drew, how are dogs magic?
They're better than us.
All right. They're like us but better than us. What else is magic?
The love for your kids.
All right. Love is magic, especially the love for your children. What else?
Imagination.
Imagination.
Rocket launches.
Rocket launches. Life.
Deception.
Everything.
Frogs.
Frogs. I started coming to the same conclusion a little bit, realizing that there's an awful lot of magic that's around us. And as I started looking back over my life and the things I've been really interested in over the years from when I was very young until now, I noticed that the thing, like all these things, what they all have in common is they really all do have some element of being magic and magical. And I realized this is something that's sort of centrally important to my life. And it's not just these things, it's like you guys were talking about. I mean, magic is everywhere. Magic is in everything. And it has to do with the way the human brain interacts with the rest of the universe is when magic starts to happen. Because all magic emanates from the mind, from the brain. That's where magical things happen. So let me see if I can get this little video going. Hopefully this audio will play. Let me see where that went.
Oh, dang it.
Is this going to be a nightmare, Warren?
No, it's gonna work.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. It's
Magic.
going to be magic. That sounds magical. All right, here, watch this little video here.
Ba, ba, ba.
What's that guy saying? Ba, ba, ba. Right, all right. So now here's another video, same guy.
Ba, ba, ba.
What's that guy saying?
Same thing.
He's saying fa, 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 right? Fa, fa, ba, fa, fa, fa. Let's watch this fa, fa, fa guy again.
Ba, ba, ba.
All right, watch him one more time, but this time it's the fa, fa, fa guy, but close your eyes.
Ba, ba,
Oh, weird.
ba.
It's the same audio in both clips. Ba, 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 and the other clip, he's saying ba, ba, ba in both of them.
Ba, ba.
Weird.
But your brain sees the lips doing the thing and says, no, that's going to be ba, 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 and that's what you're going to experience because that's what you see in your head. And you can say no all you want, but that's how it is. Because the brain does all these magic things all the time, right? The brain messes with you. Stop that. Right?
It's not fair.
Because what magic is when you're at that point, you're at that boundary between what we understand and what we don't understand. And your brain tries to make it so you can understand things. But the truth is, we live in this world where everything is magic. Science is magic, and atoms are magic, and space is magic, and animals are magic, and oceans is magic. Life is magic. Everything is magic. We are surrounded in an ocean of 1,000 magics. That's what we live in every day. But our brain can't possibly stand and stare into that open void of magic every second of our lives, or we'd go insane.
Some people do.
And so, just like your brain tries to create all kinds of illusions that make you understand about how vision work and make you think you understand what people are saying, your brain creates the biggest illusion of all, the illusion that you know what's going on. And that this reality is something you can see and comprehend. A lot of the work your brain does is pushing the magic away. And so much of this happens. You build this little world around yourself where you say, no, I understand it. I know what's going on. I know how this works. I know how the universe works. But that can't last. Eventually, you know, if you do too much of that, it goes the wrong direction. And this is what ends up happening so much in education. We have so many situations in education where the instructors end up saying, no, look, don't think about that. I know it looks complicated, but here's the formula. Now you understand it. You don't need to think anymore. And education often goes that direction of continuing to build up the walls. And sooner or later, something breaks through. And that's when we experience a little magic. Something breaks through and it's like, wait, what? What's going on? How is this happening? And there's 3 different reactions that people tend to have. The first one is fear. Oh my God, what is actually happening? I don't know what's going on. The second one is apathy. I don't care, that's somebody else's problem. That there's kind of new data, new information, something looks different than it looked before. And then there's the third one, which is curiosity. What the hell is that? What is that thing? How can I find out more about what this is? Because the world doesn't work the way I thought it worked. The world works differently than the way I thought. And this is really important because everybody takes, and anytime anything new shows up, anytime any of that magic that we live in breaks through into our reality, we take on one of these 3 attitudes. And the curiosity attitude is really important because who's going to change the world? The person who's afraid? They're going to try and change it so they hide from the information. And the person who's apathetic is not going to change the world. But the curious person has a chance of going out there and changing the world. Because curiosity, right, it leads very quickly to insight. What's going on? And you go out and you figure it out and you do some experiments and you're like, wait a second, it doesn't work the way I thought. I built this little wall, I had the Bohr model of the atom, I thought I knew what was going on. No, it turns out there's this whole other thing. It turns out that there's this relativity theory that, oh my God, this works in a way I didn't think. And people who have an insight quickly experience wonder. That's how nature rewards you for, yes, you figured it out, you clever little devil. And you get to this experience of, oh, now I see how it is. And of course, when you experience wonder, it's addictive, right? And in fact, the reason we call it wonder is because you experience it and it makes you wonder, it makes you curious again, right? And it's this loop, it's this positive loop that keeps going if you get to that point where you actually get some insights, and it builds and it builds and it builds. And Dorothy Parker had it right. She says the cure for boredom is curiosity. And the cure for curiosity, there is no cure for curiosity. And this is scary to a lot of people. That's why when, what's the most commonly stated phrase about curiosity?
cat.
Curiosity kills the cat. You know, you don't want to go there. You don't want to be a dead cat, right? That's those fear people talking. Those people. No, don't go over there. It's just gonna be bad for you. All that magic out there, magic. There's no ghosts. It's easy, no ghosts. Now you don't have to think about ghosts. But it's all out there. Right? It's all out there, and the more you learn about it, the more you start to see, and the more you let in, the more magic you let into your life, the bigger your view of the universe gets, and the more you become interested in changing things. Here's an example. I'll give you a little mathematical digression. I used to do a lot of algebra tutoring, and I remember doing some pre-algebra with some kid, and he's learning square roots, and he's kind of getting it. He's like, yeah, okay, I got it. Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. I pretty much got this down. And he's trying to be clever, and he's like, and there's no such thing as the square root of a negative number, right? And I said, no, that's not right. He says, what do you mean? I'd asked my teacher about it. I asked about the square root of a negative number, and she said, there's no such thing. And I said, well, she's lying to you. What do you mean she's lying? No, it's true, I said. The square root of -1 is a number we call I. He's like, I? What number is it? I said, we call it I because it's not any of the numbers you know. There are other numbers beyond the numbers you know. And we call this one I because it stands for imaginary, because it's not part of these numbers that we normally talk about. He's like, you're making this up. And I said, no, this is real maths. It's I, and we should talk about I because I is important. I is a strange number. And this is what happens when you start to look at magic a little and start to go outside of the system. So I asked him, all right, you understand. You understand square root of 4 is 2. So what's 2 squared? Somebody? 4, right. So square root of -1 is I. So that means I squared is -1. That makes sense. I squared is I times I equals -1. He's like, okay, I guess so. It's kind of weird, but all right, I squared is -1. I said, well, then what's I cubed? Well, he says, I guess it'll be -1 times I, which will be -I. Right, so I cubed is -I. Okay, how about I to the 4th power? Well, I to the 4th power is going to be like I squared times I squared. That's -1 times -1. And I know what that is. That's 1. So I to the 4th power is 1. Okay, well, how about I to the 5th power? Well, that's going to be I to the 4th power times I, which is I. So I to the 5th power is I. And the kid's like, is this really how it works? And I said, yes, this is really how the universe is. And why don't they teach us this in school? I said, I think the teacher's afraid of what you might do with it. And he says, what might I do with it? I said, I've said too much already. Because that's what happens. Curiosity is an addictive thing. People want to go farther. And it's more important now than it's ever been. Because we have self-education now in a way that we've never had in the whole history of the human race. People can educate themselves. I mean, I remember being interested in electronics. It was like 1985. I was like, I'm going to learn to build some stuff. So I go to the library, I get some books. I don't understand them. They don't tell me how to do anything. It's all equations and theory. I go to Radio Shack, I buy some stuff, but I don't know where to put it together. Finally, like after a year, because my parents don't know anything, my friends don't know anything, after a year, this one science teacher's like, well, I got some bits and pieces from a home course I took, and I eventually learned a little. And it took me 18 months to learn a little bit. Now, any kid can go online, and there's 1,000 videos about how to hack your own robot, and here's exactly what you buy, and here's exactly how you do it. People can teach themselves So much. And what this means is the curious people have this insane advantage over everyone else. The curious people are going to race ahead, and the people who are not curious are going to be left behind in the dust. It'll be the curiosity gap is what's going to define the 21st century. And the thing is, we don't really understand that much about curiosity. We don't really know very much about it. Are you born with it?
Are we curious about it?
Right? I'm curious about it, but the psychological community doesn't seem very curious about it for some reason. Right? So, can we infuse it in kids? And how? We don't have standardized testing for curiosity. No one seems to care about that, even though it may be what separates the nations. The nations that have the most curious people are going to dominate the 21st century, and the ones that don't are going to be left behind. So we need to figure that out. Anyway, back to magic, right? So why is it important for people to be curious and to punch through this reality into all the magic stuff that's behind it? Because this is the thing that all human beings have in common, is utopia. Everyone thinks about utopia all the time. We don't like to admit it. We don't like to talk about it out loud. But every decision that we make, everything that we do, every minute, every day, we're always asking ourselves, how can I get closer to utopia? When the politicians talk, they talk about utopia. When the preacher talks, he talks about utopia. When the drug dealer talks to you, he's talking about utopia. The shoe salesman's talking about utopia. When you're trying to decide chicken or fish, you are thinking, what are they eating in utopia? And that's what we're always thinking about. How do we make it better, make it better, make it better? Everyone likes to think the world is always getting worse. Everyone says that, oh, everything's gone so horrible, it's gone so downhill. But it's not. It's a lie we tell ourselves because we worry. It's healthy to worry, it's good to worry, but it's a lie. So many things are getting better. Did you know violent crime has been decreasing in the United States every year for the last 30 years? They don't talk about that on the news. How strange. Things are getting better and better and better. Everything's getting better because we all are trying to make it better all the time. And the curious people are the ones who have the best shot at making it better. And it's really important for us to find ways to get people to look at and think about and understand that there's magic in the world, because that's what's going to make them willing to make the changes. I had this, you ever have that experience, you're on a plane and you're talking to a stranger and you learn something about yourself? I had this woman who we were just talking about this and that. She's asked me what I do and I told her some about it. And she asked me a few more questions and a few more questions, and she said, you know, I'm just going to say this. All the things you're into, these video games and the teaching and all that, a lot of it really seems to connect back to things being magical. That seems important to you. And I said, yeah, you know, it kind of is. She says, well, what's important about it? Why do you care so much about people having these magical experiences? And I said, I don't know. I guess it's because I think it's really important that people know and understand that there's magic in the world. That's what I want more than anything else, is for everyone to understand and see that the world still has magic. The magic is everywhere. And she said, why is that important? And I didn't know. I didn't know why that was important. But I feel like I kind of know it now. And I think the reason is, oh, I'm going to hold up on that. So I'm going to give you tips about how to make magic. I'm going to keep you in suspense. So, because that was what Warren asked me to do. He said, I'm supposed to tell you how to make magic, not drone on with a lot of crazy crap. So here's my tips for making magic. First, you have to be brave, because people don't want to hear about IQs. They don't want to know. They'd rather just say, no, there are no There are no square root of -1, right? You've got to go places that people haven't been before and talk to them in a language they're not used to. You need to follow your instincts when you're going to make magic, because you know that little voice in the back of your brain knows, the subconscious mind knows all about magic. That's the guy who makes the dreams every night, 3 shows nightly since before you were born. That guy knows about making engaging interactive virtual worlds. So you need to follow that. And you need to believe you can do the impossible, because you can. As soon as you take something from outside that realm of where we think we know, from something from outside that, and you change it, you've broken everything. And you've done the impossible, and you can do that. Okay, so back to my point. It's important that people understand and believe that there's magic in the world, because when you believe that the world is magical, you also necessarily believe that you can make the world a better place. And it's our obligation to try and remove the scales from this generation of children, to take the scales from their eyes so that they can see the world for what it really is. And what it really is a wondrous infinity of thousands of magics that surrounds them, that they can reach out and hold in their hand, and they can exquisitely shape it into an infinite series of wonderful tomorrows. That's the end. Thank you. Warren, am I supposed to answer questions or something?
Yeah, you're supposed to explore what is magic, and this is a time when you can say anything about your definition of magic, or comment on what you just heard.
That rocked.
All right, thank you.
Very good.
That was new, and I'm always scared when it's new.
Tell us
You
what
were
you're
brave.
working on now. Just give us an update.
Okay, stuff I'm working on now. Working on a lot of stuff now. It's been a crazy year. So at the school, we're doing some new things. We're always interested in new devices at the school. One that I am very excited about is eye tracking. Like, I've been fooling around with eye tracking for maybe 20 years, and it's always blah. It like never works, and the lighting's got to be just so, and it takes 2 minutes to calibrate, and all this stuff. I found this device, the Eye Follower. It like doesn't care about the lighting. You put it down, the way you calibrate is look at this yellow dot, look at that yellow dot. You're done, and it works. It works beautifully. It works perfectly. And the students started making games you play with your eyes, and I've never experienced anything like that before, because we control our eyes so subconsciously. You know, you kind of, your head and your brain are a little more involved. Your consciousness is more involved with your hands, but with your eyes, like, you forget that it's just like you're thinking and stuff is happening. I'm very excited about it. The device right now costs $30,000. But
This quarter.
all right, but that won't last. And so I'm kind of going out there. I really believe that probably about 10 years from now, every mobile device is going to be looking at your eyes and using your eyes as an integral part of the interface. It's smooth and it's seamless. It's weird, but I think that's a big thing that's coming. So that's one thing. But I'm working on, I don't know, we're doing a million things. We're doing a lot of stuff for middle school. We finished that one with Yale University that's all about, it's a tablet game all about reducing the incidence of HIV in inner city teenagers. And it's not getting released to the market because we're going to do real science on it. Real medical doctors and control groups and, you know, published papers, all that stuff is going to be happening. And we're very excited about the design of it because the kids are really engaged and it might actually work. And we're doing a lot of stuff with middle school. We're getting really into middle school. We're doing language arts. We're doing science games for middle schoolers. Lots of stuff. And we're doing this new thing called Game Factory, which is a little bit different. So people might know my Art of Game Design book. We're doing an extension on that. The idea is, hey, you have a game design idea? Send it in to this website that we're building. The community will comment on it. We'll comment on it. We'll give you feedback. Everyone will vote. The best ones we'll start building prototypes for. People will play the prototypes and comment on the prototypes, and we'll say, okay, you see the prototype, do some more design work. And we go back and forth. When it gets far enough along, the ones that are highest voted, we'll fund them, we will build them, we will ship and sell them, and we'll split the money with you. So we're going to try this. It's a crazy thing. It's going to come out in April. We'll see how that goes. So sort of crowdsourced games is a big thing with us right now. Okay? All right.
Yay.
All right, thanks
Jesse.
everybody. Have a great Duster Magic.